Welcome to the Chasing Winners College Edition. It's been a while since we've done an NFL one, but it did exist. Week 11 of the college football season, which is sad. It's almost over. Kyle Massaloni here with JP Lyon. My team, wow, last week was something down in Miami. But JP, how did we actually do records wise? Both had to be better than Miami, even if it was bad.
Yeah, I don't think Miami is making it to 7-8 or 8-7. So I think we did better last week. Um, Kyle, you went 7-8, 1-5 on the podcast picks,
Oof.
and lost on your best bet. Um, I went 8-7, 1-5 on podcast picks, lost my best bet, and sadly, the undefeated stretch for the podcast parlay comes to an end. Clemson's outright loss. Um, so we are plus 1.6 units on the season now. That's still pretty nice. And I am up 3 games. 1 game in wins, 3 games in losses, and 2 pushes. That should be 3 games on the season in our regular picks. If we look back at podcast picks, I think I have you by 8 games, and you have me by 2 on best bets. I'm 2-7-1 on best bets.
Jesus. You should just do the exact opposite of whatever you're thinking on the best
Seriously.
bet.
Which is not good this week since we agree on my pick.
Well, yeah, that's an interesting one. Crazy week last week with Bama and Clemson both going down. But let's get into this week. It's possible to have a few more crazy results, especially looking at this first line. Noon kickoff on ESPN. Unranked Arkansas, only 3-point underdogs at home against LSU, number 7, who are coming off that big win against Bama. Ugh. The odds makers think it's a letdown spot.
Yeah, I mean it's a letdown spot. Arkansas is at home. LSU is not very good, which is a personal opinion that I really subscribe to. Even though I was just dead wrong last week, and I apologize for for talking you off of LSU.
Damn it.
Although it helped me, so I don't know. This is just one of those games where I have to take Arkansas plus 3. I hate it. But I put in a pick for this game. I put my 6 picks in, and I looked at it, and I looked at the line for the public, and I said, oh, I can't do it. I can't take LSU minus 3 in a what I know is a letdown spot, and knowing that 71% of the public is on LSU. I can't do it here. So I'm going to take a loss on the noon game. I know it because Arkansas is really not good, but I have to take Arkansas plus 3 here as much as I hate it.
Yeah, I just have that block in my mind again of the line doesn't make sense, and I just have to dive right into the trap. I mean, I've been very impressed with LSU the last 3 weeks. I mean, when you look back at it, I don't know how you see that they're not that good anymore. I mean, obviously the loss to Florida State at the start of the season, but even Florida State has looked pretty solid recently. And Tennessee is one of the best teams in the country. So,
Whoa. I'm not letting you get Florida State past that. They have not looked good recently. They just beat the brakes off of Miami. That's the only reason they're ranked, and they're 25th.
they've looked good recently, but
No, 1 week.
I have to console myself somehow by saying FSU is a good football team, even though I don't believe it whatsoever. Um, but yeah, I have to take LSU minus 3 here. We both think we're gonna take a loss in this game, but so one of us has to get a win. LSU -3 away from home. I also just don't think Arkansas is that good. Can we just talk about the fact that they lost to Liberty last week at home and are now only 3-point dogs against LSU at home?
All you're doing is convincing me more that Arkansas is going to win outright, which would make me very right about the SEC. So that means it's not going to happen because I'm not allowed to be that right and that profitable on one slate.
No, impossible. On to the next game here. We're staying in the SEC. Big one, CBS 3:30 kickoff. Number 9, Wounded Animal, Bama, going on the road to number 11, Lane Kiffin's, the Lane Train at Ole Miss at Vaught Oh God, I don't want to get the stadium name wrong. Vaught Hemingway Stadium in Oxford. Alabama are 12-point favorites. Weird, but what are your thoughts here?
If we could have any Ole Miss fans get after Kyle and have him cancel, that would be another great way for me to be the host next year. If you had to guess, did you look at the public line on this yet or no?
I haven't. If you want to educate me on it. Around 60% Bama.
It's 86% Ole Miss.
What?
That was when I checked this morning. 86% of the public is on Ole Miss plus 11.5. And I was like, oh, maybe that's because like the line moved. It was 14, like 11-5 or 11-2, and then 11-5 it moved to 12-13. It's been moving down, but it's 86%. So
oh no!
I put in. I had my picks. It was LSU and it was Ole Miss. And I looked at that. And I was like, oh my god. I mean, yes, Ole Miss is bad. But you said Bama won animal mode. I know that. I mean, I logically know that Ole Miss isn't that good. I know that. What are they ranked? Are they ranked 11th?
Ole Miss is ranked 11th.
That's insane.
One loss team.
They have 5 SEC teams in the top 11.
Yes.
That's weird. Even for this committee, it's weird.
Is it really weird for this committee, though?
In the top 13 teams, they have 4 Pac-12 teams and 5 SEC teams.
Yeah.
Are there no ACC teams in the top 13 anymore? No.
Clemson's 10.
That's. I don't like the Ole Miss ranking there, but I can't really get into committee rankings at this point. I have to take Bama minus 11.5 here. I've basically been on Bama every game we've done this, and I think they've all lost except for the Mississippi State game. I really hate that they've had so many games this year where they have either lost or they've looked really bad. Texas A&M, they looked really bad, and they have 2 losses, Tennessee and LSU. I didn't watch a ton of the Bama games. I don't know if they looked terrible, really. But I don't know. Maybe Saban's just going to come back and beat the brakes off of Ole Miss to remind people that he's still Saban, but who knows? Bama minus 11.5. I guess I just keep taking it.
So let's talk about Bama on the road this year.
Oh yeah, let's get into this.
20-19 win against Texas in a game they would have lost if Quinn Ewers didn't get hurt. They beat the brakes off of Arkansas. Okay, 49-26. Lost to Tennessee. Lost to LSU. So they're 2-2 on the road. Should probably be 1-3. in super close games in three of the four.
So
You're telling me they're just gonna roll in and beat the brakes off of Lane Kiffin?
Yes.
They've given up in their last two road games 52 and 32 points. And they're playing a Lane Kiffin offense now. That's averaging, now I'm looking at how many points they've scored, and it is a very large amount per game besides the LSU game.
Not saying I like the pick.
Yeah, just you could probably tell based on how I was talking there. I'm on Ole Miss plus 11.5. The public line scares me a ton. Now that you mentioned that, but I can't look away from it. I mean,
yeah.
I can't look away from Bama's road record this year, and they're probably going to win the game. I just don't think they cover.
Yeah, it just feels like a game where Ole Miss's offense and Bama's not playing a ton of defense against quality opponents. So it feels like a game where Ole Miss is going to score enough to cover that spread.
Okay, so now we're getting into the game of the week. I
think you skipped a game.
No, I didn't skip a game. It's the game of the week, the G5 game of the year. Mm-hmm. We haven't talked about the group of five much on this podcast here, but this game could really decide a New Year's Six berth. Now I think Liberty's the best. I think Liberty's the best group of five team right now, but
yeah,
they're getting no love. So it's probably going to be one of these teams. It's crazy that they're unranked and their only loss is because they went for two against Wake Forest. Liberty's not ranked by the committee. No, they're ranked in the AP.
That's insane.
Their one loss was because they went for two and didn't get it against Wake Forest. They went for two for the win and lost by one.
Weren't they like 21st in the AP poll a couple weeks ago?
Yeah, they're still like, I got to check the AP poll, but I think they're like 19th or 18th.
Yeah, they're 19th there.
And they're unranked by the committee. But let's talk about the game at hand now. Number 22 UCF traveling to number 17 Tulane, 3:30 kickoff, ESPN2 in New Orleans. What are your thoughts here? I haven't watched much of either of these teams, to be honest, but it's something we have to talk about.
You know that I haven't either. Tulane had a big victory last week against the in the Natural Disaster Bowl. So that was nice to see. Honestly, the key here is going to be if the UCF quarterback plays, because he got hurt a couple weeks ago, and then I think he started against Cincinnati, but either got hurt again or didn't play well, and the backup came in and actually played fine. But for me, it depends a lot on that. He's still questionable now. I'm going to take Tulane at home here. Both teams coming in on 3-game win streaks, 2-game win streaks. Lean with the home team. Not that I know a ton about either team, really. I know I've bet on UCF a couple times this year, and it's like 50-50. So I'm just going to go with the Green Wave, right?
The Green Wave.
Yeah, Green Wave.
And I'm going the other way here. I'm going with the Knights of UCF plus 1.5. The official bet when we bet each other will probably be the money line either way.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. It's going to be money line if I take Tulane minus 1.5.
Yeah, but don't really have too many thoughts on the game. I mean, I just think UCF is coming off two big wins here against Cincinnati and Memphis, at least big for the conference that they're in. Um, and it's a program that's, I hate to just use program generalities when talking about it, but it's a program that's been there before. They're kind of a perennial powerhouse of the American Athletic Conference. So I'm gonna go with them to continue that plus 1.5. Gonna be money line on our official picks, but
Yeah, I'm
going with
looking forward to UCF having some bigger games coming up in the future, next couple years.
yeah, they're joining you all in the Big 12. Probably gonna get the brakes beaten off of them, but
First
for
couple years, that's fine.
at least for the first few years, I think they might be able to at least pick up their recruiting in Florida, especially if we stay as down as we are. But
Yeah,
I
there's no of those, I guess, four big programs. Really, there's three big programs, but if when UCF joins, it'll be four programs that are in Power Five conferences, right?
yeah,
I, if they can get good and Florida stays somewhat mediocre, Miami's a little worse than mediocre. Florida State is mediocre. If UCF pulls off a couple years of sustained success, that could be really interesting for recruiting battles in Florida.
oh yeah, they could really factor in. It's crazy that even with our 4-5 season, there were a bunch of recruits in attendance to watch us get our ass beat last week, but we still have like a top 5 class next year. Mario Cristobal and money helps a lot.
Yep, winning has to follow.
Yeah, winning definitely has to follow eventually. Enough Miami talk here, though. It's time to talk about Baylor, who may still be one of the best teams, if not the best team in the Big 12, and we'll find out a lot about that this Saturday, 7 o'clock on FS1. Don't know why this isn't on the other big game that
You
we're
know
going to
why?
talk about is on Big Fox. Yeah. Number 19 Kansas State on the road against unranked Baylor. Baylor are the 2.5 point favorites. JP, give us the rundown on your team here.
Happily, I just actually got back from. We're recording this pretty late on Wednesday night because I was at a work happy hour earlier, and then I got back and hopped on a Kansas State fan podcast. Um, so that was pretty enjoyable. I will be retweeting that tomorrow, Friday, whenever it goes up. Um, so check them out because that was pretty fun. Um, Baylor is actually kind of good, which they're playing like we thought they would play at the start of the year. It just took them a little time to gel. Um, the offense looked really good outside of the first drive against Oklahoma. Once they started feeling able to turn the ball over, that was really great. Um, Adrian Martinez is back for Kansas State, and he didn't turn the ball over 3 or more times against Texas. So I like him to
Big
turn the ball
success.
over 3 times against us. I like that a lot, especially because we forced a ton of turnovers. I think someone said we're leading the Big 12 in forced turnovers. Um, and Adrian Martinez is going to turn the ball over. I've watched so much Adrian Martinez, way more than any one human should watch Adrian Martinez because he's not a good quarterback.
Why?
Because my dad went to my dad's a Nebraska fan,
Ah,
so I
yeah.
watched every Nebraska game when Adrian Martinez was the quarterback, and
Sounds like a blast.
it really wasn't. It's watching the 3-9 season where every game was one score, but he will make incredible plays, and he's going to carve us up with his legs the same way that Spencer Sanders would, the same way that Jalen Daniels would have if he played against us. Um, but I don't like. I think if you're going to take an over on a player's like a player prop kind of thing, it's Adrian Martinez rushing yards, probably throwing yards, if I'm being honest, because our defense still isn't the quality that it was last year. But I kind of like us to win this game, especially given the line, which is back to my old system of lower ranked team at home, 2.5 point, 3.5 point favorite, still 2.5 from what I'm seeing. We also had students try to organize a blackout in the fans. Now we don't have black jerseys since we did our rebrand. We just don't have them. I actually talked to, I work with a guy who played at Baylor last year, and he is like, yeah, we don't have black jerseys. So they're not doing that, but the student body created a Twitter account that started publicizing, hey, let's do a blackout, and just tagging all these accounts with more followers than they had. And they strong-armed the university into supporting it. The university sent out emails today, like tonight, saying, hey, by the way, we're going to do a blackout. We know it's Wednesday of the game week, but let's just throw a blackout in there. So I think blackouts, as far as fan engagement goes, are one of the best things you can do. Because we've tried to do the gold out before, and we do it. It's fine. It's somewhat of a success, but people don't want to do it. Everyone has a black shirt. I went and put on my black Baylor long sleeve shirt because I have so many black Baylor shirts that I'm not going to wear this one in the game.
And I also have a black shirt on. That's a part of the reason why it's so engaging, is because everybody has a black shirt. Everybody kind of, for some reason, likes wearing black. Maybe I don't know, but
I don't know what that is. It's just people get into it. It's especially this is our first night game we've had since 2020.
That's absurd.
Yeah.
And
we were so good last year.
And then because you guys kept getting the big noon games. But
yeah, we only got it once actually. Oklahoma was our only big noon game, but we had Oklahoma State on the road at night. But yeah, our only night home game, I'm taking Baylor -2.5 here. I hope we can bring some energy. I will be in Waco for this game.
You got to bring all the energy in the world, because I'm on Baylor -2.5 as well. So we'll need all the help we could get. I hope everybody wears black. I hope everybody gets blacked out. I hope everybody goes crazy. And then you guys really need black uniforms to go along with your crowd's desire to wear black, because
I don't get why. I don't think our leadership wants to do it. I don't know if that's because of the blackout connotation, but we did it my freshman year, 2018. We played TCU and we did a blackout. That was the last time we did it. Then we rebranded in 19, and no one has worn a black jersey since. So I don't know what that's about. It will be surprisingly cold. So now, surprisingly cold for me means nothing, but for the Texans, 40-degree weather is not up their alley. But yeah, I'm hoping we pull this out. It does bother me a little. I talked about that weird line. 74% of the public is on Baylor.
Jesus, I'm a square this week.
You weren't on Tulane. 69% of the public was on Tulane. That is pretty nice.
Interesting. That is very nice.
It's concerning that 74% are on us. I don't know what to do with it, because it shouldn't be. This should be a Vegas line, but I don't know.
Interesting stuff. Now we're on the game. We're going to the game that's on Big Fox now. I was like, why is this game not on Big Fox? Oh, number 20. big rivalry game out west in the Pac-12. Number 25 Washington traveling to Austin Stadium to play number 6. Is that a 6 or an 8? Number 6 Oregon. 7 o'clock kickoff on Fox. Oregon are 13.5-point favorites. Big double-digit line in a rivalry game. JP, what are you thinking?
This also answers one of our other questions. This is why Liberty is not ranked, because they ranked Washington 25 so that they can have Oregon beating another ranked team. So they can try and keep out. It'd be really incredible if they tried to keep out an undefeated TCU with Oregon winning the Pac-12 championship.
They cannot keep out an undefeated TCU. Now, do I think TCU is going undefeated? We'll get to that later.
No, we don't.
But but
the only way they could keep them out if LSU wins the SEC championship.
That's just not going to happen. Well, I'm not saying LSU winning the SEC championship's not going to happen. I'm saying you cannot keep out an undefeated Power 5 champion. They weren't going to keep out Clemson, and the ACC sucks.
Yeah, but Clemson has the brand. TCU doesn't have the brand.
The brand shouldn't matter, but that's a story
for another
day. I know it does. That's
the biggest thing.
That's why Miami's ranked every single year preseason. It's
yeah. This game, I think I've taken Oregon in every game we've done this for. I think.
That worked out a lot, except for one big game at the beginning of the season.
Yeah, that one did not work out. I actually might have taken Georgia there, so I might be perfect on Oregon. I'm going to take Oregon minus 13.5 here. I like them to. They have a huge game next week against Utah. Big game next week. It's a look-ahead spot, but I don't think they're going to slip up here, especially because that would completely shut the door on any CFB hopes they have. And certainly the 75% of the public is on Oregon, but I like their offense, especially at home. I talked about this with the UCLA game. I said Oregon at home, that offense just cooks. That's what they're going to do here. They're going to cook Washington. Oregon minus 13.
No, absolutely no arguments from me there. I mean, just look at how since the Georgia game, they haven't put up less than 40 points in a game. I'm looking at this now. 70, 41, 44, 45, 49, 45, 42, and 49. Can anybody out west stop this team?
No, because they don't play defense out west.
maybe Utah? Maybe? Probably not.
They gave up 41.
Yeah, they gave up 42 to USC and 42 to UCLA. Yeah, they're not as great defensively as they used to be. I don't think anybody's stopping Oregon's offense in this case. The only team that could possibly outscore them is USC. So hope to see that game in the Pac-12 championship, but.
Yeah, and that's going to be decided next week, right?
Yeah, so the Pac-12 has a weird system to where they still play within their divisions, but they take the two best teams. It's the dumbest thing ever.
Okay.
So it's between USC, UCLA, and Utah right now. They're all tied with one loss.
So that especially both games next week will decide it, because they'll have probably Big Noon and Game Day are just going to decide between them which goes to which Pac-12 game.
Yeah, so we're going to be talking about the Pac-12 a lot next week, which is going to be so fun.
It's that time of year. We have to talk about them.
Just like we have to talk about the American Athletic Conference. So it's that time of year.
Yep.
Oregon minus 13.5 is my pick here as well. And now let's get into the game of the week in the conference of champions this year, the best conference there is, the most entertaining conference there is. Not sure about the best, most entertaining is the right word.
This is fine. You can say best.
getting the ABC Saturday primetime 7:30 spotlight, much better game than what was in it last week. Number 4, undefeated TCU travels to Austin to play number 18 Texas. Texas are 7-point favorites against an undefeated TCU. The disrespect.
Yeah, you want to play Guess the Public here too?
Public's on TCU, I'd imagine.
What number?
65.
53, actually.
Oh,
Pretty
so
evenly split here.
it's a fairly even split. I mean, a lot of Texas fans out there probably hammering them. That's a big Public team, but
Yeah, this is a game for me that feels like it feels like the same kind of thing as the Texas Oklahoma State game, where I just kind of I take Texas -6.5. I take Texas -7 because I just think they have the best quarterback in the conference. They have one of the best running backs in the country. They have a really good receiver. They should probably win this game. But TCU finds a way to cover spreads. And so I'm going to take TCU +7. I don't really like it. I don't know that I've liked any of my picks this week. But I have to take TCU +7 because I'm just going to keep riding the wave. How long ago was the Oklahoma State game?
Let's see.
They covered either 3 or 4 straight games.
The Oklahoma State game was 4 weeks ago. Yeah, so they covered four straight games. Didn't they technically cover against Kansas too, and Oklahoma?
Well, they didn't cover Oklahoma State, is my point.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah, they didn't.
Half point.
Yeah.
Well, full point by the time we got it, but they're coming and covering 3 straight. They've covered a ridiculous number of games this year. So I'm going to take TCU +7. Really hoping that Texas doesn't beat the brakes off of them. If they do, the conference is wide open, and I hope to God that we beat Kansas State this weekend. If TCU wins this game, I really like Baylor's chances next week. Because they come to Waco in what should be this time frame. That it should be this 6:30 game. And if they still
You sure it won't be big noon? Because the big Pac-12 games will not be at noon because that's 9 a.m. there.
I have a holiday party at 7:30 p.m. on Friday night. Do not make me drive down for an 11 a.m. kick. Although I'm not sure I like a 6 p.m. kick either, considering I have a 12 p.m. flight the next day. So, well, that has thrown a wrench into my plans. But regardless, I like our chances to beat TCU if they win this week. So I'm taking TCU +7. I really hope they win. That's the case with both my underdogs this week. I really hope Arkansas and TCU win.
You do. Yeah, I'm on TCU +7 as well here. Like you mentioned, they just find a way to cover, and it's hard not to ride their wave right now. They're just finding magic at every step here. I hope it continues. It would be really cool to see them make a run to the playoff, but I know that would mean running through your Bears over there, but
I do think it's fitting if I guess that wouldn't be fitting because we've already done it to them. I was going to say they kept us out of the playoff last year. We could keep them out of the playoff this year. We kept them out of the playoff in 2014, so I guess that doesn't really make sense. We just keep doing it every year, so.
Well, yeah, 2014 was like a tragic situation for the Big 12 to begin with. It was wasn't that the year the reason you guys created a championship game?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was a bad one.
It's not good.
But
and wouldn't it have been great to see another TCU Baylor game? That would have been awesome.
It would have. Too bad we didn't get that, sadly, and the Big 12 was looked over. But that's not going to happen this year if TCU makes a run, because there's no way you could keep them out, especially if they run through this gauntlet of a schedule at the end of the season.
Yeah.
The hardest portion of their schedule arguably is, well no. But the hardest portion of their schedule
I was gonna
was
say they've played K-State and Oklahoma State. I bet they end the season with Kansas.
no, they've already beaten Kansas. That was the game where Kansas.
I was thinking of Kansas State.
Talk about lucky again. That was the game where Kansas's QB got injured.
Yep.
And they scraped by 7.
Yeah. Who do they end with then?
They end with Iowa State, so not as bad as I thought.
That's gonna be an ugly.
So now let's get into best bets of the week. You kind of alluded to one earlier that we were both thinking along the same lines of. So let me know what that one is.
Yeah, that one, we are on the same page here. We are both on Screwballs to make it to the playoffs in softball tomorrow night. We're both on UNC +4 against Wake Forest here.
We're on the Screwballs as well.
Okay, good.
How about the Bowling Brutes with a big win tonight?
Oh, that's nice. Kyle and I both doing work activities tonight. He was bowling and I was drinking. But
drinking comes with bowling too, so.
True, I would imagine. Yeah, I was just in a little trivia at the end there.
Nice.
But yeah, I in this spot here, I should be on Wake Forest. Probably the right play. This is an anti-ACC pick because I think Wake Forest will probably win. So I think they'll probably cover as well. Just because it's such a big letdown spot here. I lost that parlay just on Louisville.
That's so upsetting.
That over and the money line hit. So that was the only leg of the +3. Okay,
whatever. That's such a.
Kyle and I started this by just watching the ending of Louisville Bellarmine. And I had Louisville in a teaser, so they were -5, so they had no shot ever. But they had to make it to overtime, and then Kyle was on Louisville money line. So we were watching it unhappily, although I did have a pretty good night with action. It feels like a letdown spot for UNC. It just does. On the road against Wake, who Kyle has once said was the best team in the conference. Did you say that? Or just a good team? We almost got through without cutting it. We got so close. So close. Just not there.
Why does this always happen? It always happens at the end.
Midnight, let me go to sleep.
No, so yeah, I said
again? Just as soon as you started talking.
My internet's saying go to sleep, but yeah, what I was trying to say was I said NC State was the best team in the conference. I said Wake Forest was a good team.
Yeah, so we did forget to.
I was wrong
on the podcast a couple weeks or last week. We forgot to bring up the big Kyle thought that we were really good teams bowl between NC State and Wake Forest. That was very exciting. We should have covered it. We just got so caught up in every other sport that we were talking about. But yeah, I'm taking UNC here. That's who Kyle was going to take until I took them, and then he actually came up with a better pick that that I'll probably end up taking here, even though it's not a game that's on our schedule.
Yeah, it's the plane crash game for Marshall. I wish I had a better word to describe it. they're wearing uniforms to commemorate and remember those who passed away in the plane crash in 1970. Of course, we've all heard about what happened there. If you've watched the movie We Are Marshall, big Matthew McConaughey guy, great movie. But yeah, so I'm on Marshall. I'm gonna say money line, but
I put money
it's
line down.
yeah. I think the line's -1 or the line's +1. So Marshall money line essentially is +100. Hard not to take them in the emotional game. It's almost like a dead mascot game or something like that. So I'm on Marshall money line. Best bet.
Yeah, I have to take them. It scares me a little that the dead teammate game earlier this year didn't cover. Where you were on the other side of that. That's just wrong. So, fingers crossed that the plane crash game hits. Wait, hold on.
We got to think of a better name than this.
Please don't cancel me.
The We Are Marshall game, the McConaughey game.
So yeah, Kyle's on the plane crash game.
It's got to be that's just the only word to describe it.
So we are on. We've got another parlay this week. I think I almost just ended the call. That would have been cool. We are plus 1.6 units on the season on our parlays. So we've got one more week of losing available before we need to start winning again. And we actually talked this one through slightly while I was on the Kansas State podcast. So the parlay this week, we're going with some C teams since the C team lost last week. Not at all why we did this, but I am contributing Cincinnati money line. Kyle is contributing Coastal money line. Both are 5-point favorites currently. So I think I saw plus 121 on Bovada earlier. But I've been doing the graphic on Barstool, so I will put that on the video.
Huge G5 week this week. We have a full G5 pod parlay. Marshall's my best bet. We talked about Tulane and UCF. Call us the G5 experts over here, hopefully, or you could call us the G5 dumbasses when we lose all of them. But we'll see what happens on Saturday.
Yeah, I guess that's going to be our title now, even though you told me that we just need to put in the title that someone gets screwed every week and we can get more views.
Yeah, I don't think putting the G5 experts will get us a lot of viewership.
How about Tulane got screwed? They should actually be top 4.
Liberty got screwed.
Got screwed.
That is actually a team that got screwed.
The G5 experts - Liberty got screwed. That might be it. I can work with that. Maybe that's a lot of characters.
That's a lot of characters. Lot of buzzwords in there. We got Liberty, which is just an American buzzword. We got expert. We got screwed. We got that. There's a lot going into that. The algorithm might help us a little bit.
Just throw in like in the description. I'll throw in freedom, election, voting.
Imagine somebody clicks on this thinking it's a like an election podcast. Like Liberty got screwed last night.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we also talk a little election at the end. Throw that in now.
Oh man. Yeah, it's late. It's 12:10 a.m. here in New York, 11:10 where you're at. I need to go to sleep. So I'm signing off here after I tell you to like, share, subscribe, and do all that.
I actually do have something to say for that. Brian has been on a little action here lately. Been making some money. He won a lot last night. I don't know how he did tonight exactly, but it looked good. And then I've been following somebody else, so I actually have 3 winning days in a row right now: Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Profitable every day.
Good stuff.
Like, share, and subscribe. Wish me
Like,
luck in Waco.
oh, best of luck in Waco. I hope it goes better for you than the trek down to Miami did for me last week.
Yeah, I'm not going to say anything about my previous record in Waco because I'm not going to bring that evil on myself.
No, don't. We need you're 0-0. We need 1-0. Even though that's definitely not true because you went to school there. So
I'm just saying this year I'm not 0-0 either. I'm more successful.
You're more successful. Good.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So we could sign off on that note. Just know that if JP comes home with a loss, I won't even know what to say because you said you're successful in Waco. Now you set yourself up for my disappointment here. So I will actually be at Madison Square Garden for UFC this weekend. So
Nice
for that one. After I get home from a work trip, but
you're flying everywhere.
Traveling everywhere. Going to be flying again next weekend. A lot going on here. A lot of miles being gained.
Well, best of luck on your flight.
Thank you, and best of luck on your drive to Waco.
Driving.
Nice. All right. See ya. Best of luck.